Hello everybody, Todd here, all things archery and shooting, and I want to welcome you to my channel. In this episode we're going to be talking about the gear that I'm choosing this hunting season to use, to hunt with, okay? We're going to go over every piece of equipment that I have in front of me here and why I chose this, and we're going to go through and just talk about it, okay? I've had a lot of requests and a lot of comments coming in. Hey Todd, what kind of gear are you going to use this year? Which bow are you choosing? Which arrows you're choosing? So I figured I'd knock all that out in one video and answer all the questions I can. So this is going to be my setup, so you can see it here, okay? It's going to be a Black Hunter Longbow with a 4-arrow quiver, using wood arrows, 4-inch fletchings, fast light string. So let's talk about each component individually. Now, first thing I want to talk about is the Broadheads. I've decided this year to go with the Cliffzwickey heads. Okay, these heads have been around for a very long time. They're actually very good heads. They've used these for years and years and years. They've shot clean through Cape Buffalo in Africa with them. They've killed countless deer with them and countless elk and big game. And these are 140 grain, 11/32. So, and I'm going to tell you why I chose to use these, okay? All right, all this equipment on this bow that I spent a lot of time and a lot of hours on, I've got tuned to perfectly where it's at. So I can shoot my broadhead shoot to the same point of impact as my field points do. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is talk about the arrows I have. Okay, these arrows here, I custom built these arrows myself, okay? They're 30.5 inches long from the nock end to the back of the field point here, okay? They're made out of Sitka spruce, and they're saying, Todd, don't you normally use port over cedar? Yes, I normally use port over cedar, but I went with Sitka spruce this year because they're a much denser wood, okay? They're a little bit heavier than, say, a port over cedar, but they're probably twice as dense. It means they're super strong arrows. They'll punch through anything, okay? I'm going to be doing elk hunting later on this year in Utah, and I need something that could bring down a 600, 700, 800 pound animal and pass completely through without breaking off. Or if it does get stuck in him, it stays in as long as possible without being backed out or broke off. And these Sitka spruce, I've tested these, which there is actually a test coming up comparing Sitka spruce to port over cedar to carbon to aluminum over on my Patreon channel. I'm going to be uploading pretty soon, and I shoot those arrows into different mediums and stuff, and we compare the performance. And because of that video review I did, that's why I chose the Sitka spruce for this upcoming hunting season. Now let's talk about the arrows. The arrows are 30.5 inches long from the nock to the back of the point. My draw length is 29.5 inches, so I'm 1 inch past my draw length. I went with 4-inch shield cut feathers. These are barred feathers. These are my practice ones. Okay, has a fluorescent yellow wrap on it. And the front point's 145 grains. All right. Total arrow weight on this arrow is between 590 and 600 grains roughly. Everyone say, "Whoa, why is that such a lightweight arrow hunting big game?" I say, "Well, true. Normally I shoot a heavy arrow like 700, 720, 730 grains, like you guys know, for a hunting arrow. But because I'm hunting elk this year, I'm going to be I can have shots out to 30, 35 yards. Okay, maybe even 40 yards. I wanted something a little bit flatter trajectory, a little bit more speed." Okay, now one thing about these arrows, they're coming out of my Black Hunter bow, which we're going to talk about in a minute, at about 193 feet per second. So they are moving, okay? And that's one reason with the lighter arrows. So these were running about 600 grains. Next in my arsenal is going to be my Judo point. I'll always carry one Judo point around. These are Zwickey Judo points. These are the best in the business. There's no other point better than this that I think, okay? They'll stop in all kind of foliage. They won't penetrate, over-penetrate a rabbit or a squirrel. You're really hard to lose these arrows, all right? And these arrows, I have the same fluorescent arrow wraps to be easy to see, and I went with the green, okay, which I went with a dark green and a light green for the cock feather with white nocks, so it'll be easy to follow. And also when I pull it out of my quiver, if I pull the green fletched ones, I know that that's my Judo point. I don't have to even second guess it. So if a big deer walks out in front of me or the elk walks out in front of me, I ain't got to be fishing and grabbing the wrong arrow, which I've done that before and it's not very good. So anyway, like I said, all these arrows are matched within probably 15 grains of each other. They run, like I said, between 590 and 600. I think my lightest arrow is about 588 grains. My heaviest arrow is 602 grains. So you're within 15 grains there, okay? And this Judo point's 145 grains also, and it's a tapered glue-on point. And all my glue-on points, I use a epoxy to lock them in so they don't come off. Now let's talk about the main arrow. This is going to be my hunting shaft, okay? It's the same shaft, same setup, which is a Sitka spruce, 30.5 inches long from the nock to the back of the arrowhead. It has 4-inch, same as these, white shield feathers. I'll talk about that in a minute. And the same fluorescent yellow arrow wraps. and then the Zwickey 140 grain broadhead. Okay. Now, these broadheads. Let's talk about these broadheads real quick. They come in a pack of 3. They run about 30 bucks. All right. They're 140 grains, and I weighed them all. They're all right on the money. 140 grains too. No deviation at all. And these are pretty good. These have been around for years and years using Zwickey broadheads. If you've not heard of them, then I don't know, you probably live under a rock. But I mean, a lot of people use these. These are probably as popular as maybe the Bear Razor head. But they are awesome heads, and I've used them in the past, but never the 140 grain ones. And these are the heaviest ones they make, which is the 2-bladed double bevel head. Okay, I like a double bevel head, not a single bevel. And it's just easier to sharpen, I figure, a double bevel than a single bevel. And these came from the factory razor sharp already. They are all super high strength steel, and they are a 3-to-1 ratio. That means they are 3 times long as they are wide. It says about 1 7/8 inch cutting diameter on it, okay? So it'll cut a big hole going through. And it's a very thin but very hard arrow, so it'll slide through bone and rib cages and everything pretty easily. Okay, and it cuts a lot of vessels. I mean, these things, like I said, they came out of the package razor sharp. I just had to do a little bit of stroping on my leather strap with them, and you could shave clean with these. Again, the sickest root shaft. Now, the reason I went with white feathers always use white feathers on my hunting arrows. I'll tell you why. When you shoot a game animal, whether it be deer, elk, hog, whatever you're shooting, when the arrow passes through the animal, it leaves residue on the arrow. And sometimes, especially in wood arrow, the residue is hard to tell what kind it is. I mean, you can always smell it, but usually by sight you can tell right away what kind of hit you were. So with the white fletching, for instance, if I see a really purplish or dark red color, then I know I hit liver. Okay, that one's going to expire pretty quickly. If I see a bubbly, frothy, white, reddish, white, bubbly, frothy residue on the white feather, then I know it's a good clean lung hit, and again, that animal's not going to move that far. If I see like a really bright red color, like a real bright red, I know it's a hard hit, and that animal's going to be gone within seconds. Okay, probably won't make it out of my sight. And then, but I can also now, if I see like a brown or I see green color or things of that nature, I can tell that is either going to be a stomach or intestine shot, and that's going to be a long tracking area. So that animal will lay up for hours for I'll track them because you don't want to push them. So the white feathers help you identify the kind of hit you have on your animals. A lot easier than say a colored feather or even your shaft does. That's why I chose these arrows. Okay. Again, they're coming out of my bow about 193, 194 feet per second on average, so they are moving. All right. All right, let's take a look at the bow now. All right, put these back in here. Okay. Okay. The bow we have here, you guys see my review on this bow. You can just go back to my videos, you'll find the review on this bow. This is the Black Hunter Longbow, 60 inches. It has 55-pound limbs on it, okay? And my draw length of 29.5 inches, this bow is pulling close to 61 pounds, all right? The bow actually at 28 inches, it's rated 55 at 28, but this bow is pulling in right at 57 pounds at 28, so it's a little bit over than the rated weight. So that's why I'm getting over almost 61 foot-pounds of energy out of this bow. 61 pounds of draw weight out of this bow, I should say. I correct myself on that. So this bow's pulling right at 61 pounds at 29.5 inches. All right, the string I have on here is a fast flight string. It's a Flemish twist, black and white, all right? I have rabbit fur silencers on here, okay? And I also have brush buttons on here as well, and I have a limb cap on the bottom of this bow here, okay? The quiver I'm using on this, well, let's get back to the bow first, okay? And also on this bow I have a bear hair rest on it, which is right here. It's a radius shelf, okay? This is a diamond wood riser, it's 15 inches, okay? It's a 3-piece takedown bow. And I put this leather grip on there because this thing, my hands get sweaty, this grip gets slippery, and it's just not good. So I like the leather, makes it lock in there a lot better. I've seen some guys stipple these, but I didn't want to ruin the finish on them, so you can buy these leather wraps from Three Rivers Archery, Lancaster Archery, even Amazon, but they're really good. They just glue right on. They give a good solid grip for it so you don't slip and slide. The bow shoots very well. I've shot this bow probably more than the other bow that I have, and I've got quite other bows. It was a really tough decision between this bow and my 2-piece takedown longbow, which is made by Mandarin Duck, and then also my 1-piece Old Mountain Stygian recurve. I probably shot the recurve and the longbow the same. My new 2-piece, I haven't got much time behind the string on that one. I do shoot it pretty well, but I could still improve on that. With this bow here, the way this bow is set up and tuned right now, I can shoot 3 inches all day long at 20 yards. And at 30 yards, I'm within 5-inch group. And I'm working right now on my long distance shooting for my elk hunt, so I'm concentrating more on a 35 to 40 yard, but I still got a lot of work to do on that. But still, even at 40 yard, which I think would be my maximum for this bow I would shoot at, I'm getting about, I can keep all arrows basically on an 8-inch paper plate. So I want to try to get that down to about 5 or 6 inches though if I can. But this bow is very accurate, it's very smooth to shoot, and the bow is very, very quiet, super, super quiet. Okay. Like I said, I did add these brush buttons on there because last year during hunting season I was going through the woods and I got a bunch of branches stuck in my string and kind of messed everything up on that. I kept getting hung up on all the undergrowth and everything. Well, this here keeps from doing that, so that's why I put these on there. Granted, it does slow the string down a little bit, but not by that much. Okay. Give you an example. The bow shoots 193 feet per second roughly. That's with everything on the string. I did try shooting this bow without the string silencer or the brush button. I was getting 196 feet per second. So it just slowed down 3 feet per second, but for that 3 feet per second, rather a quieter bow and something that can hung up in branches. And it is a fast flight Flemish twist string. It uses halo serving, which is a 9-inch serving in the middle. All right, and I got a brass knock here. I'm about just over an 1/8 inch above center of my shelf. Speaking of shelf, it's a round radius shelf. Uses a bear hair weather rest on it. Okay. So I always shoot off the shelf. All right. Let's move over to the quiver now. The quiver on this is, you get these from Amazon. They're like $40 to $45 these quivers, but they're great little 4-arrow quivers. They also make a 6-arrow, but this is the 4-arrow. That is real leather on top there. It's got nice stitching on it. And for the money, you can't go wrong. It's got some really dense foaming, so it holds the broadheads really securely, and your rubber is super strong here. It holds them really good. And it keeps them separated so they're not banging around each other. All the fletching and stuff aren't touching everything, which is nice. Okay, so. And you can see they come out easily, they go in easily, snaps in really nice. So, really nice quiver. For the money you can't beat. I got 3 of these quivers and I really like them. I've got a Selway quiver, and I compared this to my Selway, and it's just a really, really nice quiver. Quiver attaches by these elastic rubber straps that strap in. Okay, and it holds them really good. This bow does not rattle or make any noise at all. As you can see, it's very quiet. Okay, again, the quiver's a 4-arrow quiver. All right, the whole weight of this whole hunting package here is 2 pounds 13 ounces. So just under 3 pounds. This whole package on this bow. All right, so it's very lightweight. I mean, it's kind of a lightweight bow. Actually, yeah. So very, very lightweight. 2 pounds 11 ounces. All right, that's without the arrows, of course. You add the arrows into it, you're looking. Gets pretty close to about 3.5, about 3 pounds 10 ounces, almost a pound more with the arrows and everything set up on it. Okay, but just the bow and the quiver just is 2 pounds 11 ounces. All right. Like I said, I shoot this bow the most. That's why I chose this bow. I chose the longbow version because I do have the recurve version. I chose the longbow version because I do like the longbow version. It is a reflex deflect design. And the speed of this bow is just really impressive. I mean, when it's launching a 600 grain arrow at 193, 194 feet per second, a hunting weight arrow, it's crazy. Also, what's good about this bow is it's so quiet. It's really super, super quiet. And you guys can see my reviews on this bow and see how quiet it shoots and how accurate it is. All right, so that is my setup for this year's hunting. Okay, now let's talk about my other gear I'm having, what I'm going to be using, okay? First off, this is going to be my arm bracer. Okay, this is made by Top Archery. I think I paid $12 or $15 for this arm bracer, but it's a really good arm bracer. It has reinforced cow leather here and suede leather underneath it. It's got nice stitching on it. See the little expandable bands, and it's a really nice arm guard. And I said $15, you really can't go wrong. Gives you full coverage on against the arm guard, so it's really nice. So that's going to be my arm guard I'm going to be using. And we're going to talk about my tab. The tab I have here is made by Shatterproof Archery. There's a shout out to Shatterproof. If you haven't checked them out, go check out Kramer Amons on YouTube or Shatterproof Archery on YouTube, or just check out his website, shatterproofarchery.com. He sells arm guards, he sells tabs, everything else there, and he's a custom bow maker. Kramer's a pretty good guy, and he does a really good job on stuff. So if you haven't checked him out, be sure to check him out and show him some love over there, and tell him Todd sent you. By the way, this is his leather tab. It's a two-piece leather tab. It's all hand-stitched, handmade. It's really thick, so it holds in that heavy draw-weight bow very easily. I like it a lot. Okay. Matter of fact, and what's nice about these tabs, he sends them oversized, and when he sends them oversized, you have to trim them to fit your fingers. So, which is nice, you can custom trim these tabs to fit your fingers. It's got a nice little bunchy cord adapter to it, so it's comfortable and it holds really well. Okay. And the stitching is really good on it, and it's just a really, really good tab for the money. You really can't go wrong, so check it out. This is the one I'll be using this year on my hunt. I've got 2 of these, so that'll be used on my hunt, okay? Well, that about covers the video today. I want to thank you guys for watching, and as always, thank you for your support, okay? This will be my setup for this year. Please drop me a comment down below what you think of my setup. If you like it, if you don't like it, what you think about it, what you don't think about it. And what are you guys going to be using this year? Let me know. Let me hear what you guys have chosen to use this year. Alright? Also, be sure to check out my Patreon channel. I'm going to be uploading a couple things on that Patreon channel in the next few days, which are going to be only for my Patreon viewers. And my Patreon channel is not that expensive. I think it goes from like $3, $5, and either $7 or $10. You have to look. It's not expensive. But on that channel, you'll get a chance to win bows and gear, and also a hunting trip out west with me later on. And one of the first videos I'm going to be doing strictly for my Patreon channel is going to be comparing these Zwickey Broadheads, okay, against other Broadheads. We're going to shoot these against a Bear Razor head. We're going to shoot these against the Ace head, and also against the Tough head. Okay, so it's 4 different heads, all 2-bladed, double bevel heads, all the same weight range between 140 and 145 grains. And we're going to be shooting these through cow bone, cow shoulder, cow ribs, deer bone, okay, and hog shoulder and hog ribs as well, to see the performance on these arrows. We're also going to check the accuracy on them and see how well they fly, how quiet everything else. Like I said, this bow is now tuned to where these broadheads now fly to the same exact point of aim as my field points. Okay, that's how close I got them matched in tune. So we're going to be doing a complete review on those on my Patreon. Be sure to look for that, all right? It's also coming up on my regular YouTube channel. Don't miss it. I've got a Bear First Strike compound bow. This is an early 90s to mid 90s super fast bow that came out by Bear Archery called the Bear First Strike. At the time it came out, it was one of the fastest bows you could get. And I was able to pick one up on eBay for a good price. So we're going to be doing a full setup and a full review, and a new vintage bow video I'm going to have on that. So be sure to look for that. That'll be on my YouTube channel. Alright, I want to thank you guys for watching. As always, thank you for your support. If you haven't already, please click that like button, and also be sure to subscribe if you haven't, and also be sure to share with your friends. And also click that bell icon next to that like button, that way I can notify you of upcoming videos. I got a lot of stuff coming out. Like I said, I got several hunts planned this year. They're all going to be filmed and put on my Patreon channel, so there'll be a lot of cool hunts. They're all going to be self-filmed hunts, so it's going to be just me, my bow, camera, and the game animal. So hunting season here opens up September 18th, so look for the first video probably sometime into September. Alright, again, this has been Todd. I want all things archery and shooting. I want to thank you guys again for watching. Until next time, guys. Ciao.